So, my dad volunteered to be the lead pilot in formation flying. And I said, heck yeah, I've been trying to chase pilots at my field, and they don't like it, right? I get close. Anyway, yep, checking out the head tracking. Head tracking works. Outstanding. I think I typically have it off most of the flight. I still don't have a good grasp on looking around and getting my head back to center in front of the plane for the flight. So, off goes Pops. I'm in a Commander. Pops is in a Eflite. Was that a Turbo Timber EVO? We're both running 4-cell. And a little different airframe, so a little different flying characteristics out of each, but nonetheless, it's fun. First time trying it out here and getting my throttles to match. And I do have OSD. I don't have it showing up on the screen here, but I do have a GPS module on here, so I can see speed, and I can see that Turbo Timber Evo at 50% throttle is what he said he was riding at. Likes to be, or tends to be, 38-ish miles an hour, if depending on how accurate the GPS is. And so that was what I was doing my best to keep it out once I caught up to him. Of course, once I caught up to him, I was staring at his plane pretty hard once I got into, quote, formation, loose formation, whatever you want to call it. So as you can see, I've gotten somewhat comfortable. I mean, not really first formation flight, but hey, I caught up to him. I'm getting him up off my nose, off to the left side is where I decided to put it. And trying to keep him there is the learning curve. Trying to operate the throttle, recognize he's getting away, and throttle up, and recognize when I'm catching him or getting up on top of him and throttling down. The good news is though, is that he was communicating with me when in the turns he would say ready, ready, turn. So I at least had an audio cue of his intentions, which I think helps a lot because I didn't have to see him turn and then react, delayed reaction to turn with him. But yeah, get close, get too close, lose him under my cowling, and then I gotta kind of do an S-turn to hopefully break him away so I don't fly into him. Tend to turn out and away from the formation, not into him if I can. Having done that a few times, which I think I have a few more times to do it, but what I did finally learn is that I should probably keep him at or above the horizon in my view and not let his plane get below the horizon. If he is below the horizon, that means I'm above him, and that means he's going to dip under my cowling or my wing and I won't see him. So a little something I learned in this flight. Also learned that I think I was overcorrecting. I was being hypersensitive on the stick. Maybe being too sensitive on the stick, too many corrections. On the ground, everybody said it looked great and stable, but man, looking through my windscreen here is I'm constantly adjusting and moving the stick and up and down and left and right. Maybe that's just the nature of the skill set, I guess. I'll get better and smoother. I also learned that it helped me to put my airplane into the low rates. I've got high, medium, low. I fly the thing on high rates when I'm by myself, scud running between the trees and down by the pasture there. But once I got caught up to Dad's EVO here, I realized, put it in a lower rate. Maybe it'll be a little less sensitive and I won't be overcorrecting so much. So there is that. I think it helps. We'll see how that plays out as my experience goes up and my capabilities grow. Maybe I'll end up in high rates again. But for now, I take off and land in high rates, but when I'm in formation, I'm doing low rates. Oh, here we are. I'm 6 minutes into my first formation flight, and I feel like I'm doing better than I did in minute 2. Got him in the windscreen, trying to keep him above the horizon now. In the turns, I'm still struggling to keep up with him. I don't know if he's diving and can't realize it because he's flying line of sight, or if it's our turn with the wind and I'm not compensating far enough as expected. Our turns here on the upwind, on the crosswind turn, departure end of the runway, those seem to be pretty smooth. His is pretty smooth, and maybe it's because it's into the wind, or maybe it's because we're not fighting the tree line, right? We're flying out and away from us instead of turning towards us and potentially getting behind the tree line that's off to the left there and behind to the left of the runway from this view, which is actually behind our pilot station. So that probably has something to do with it. Maybe the wind was pushing us closer and closer to the runway, and when we did finally go into the left turn, it needed to be really tight. So it's a lot harder to stay at an even altitude when you're in a tight turn. So there is that, but I'm feeling better, and I think it's looking better. So just moments ago, Dad broke out for a landing. We had run our batteries out finally, so I dove down and started a later turn, right? I continued the upwind, allowed separation so he could land. I think you can see him off in the distance there down low, and catch his landing maybe in my screen, maybe not. Well, there it is, my first real formation flight with somebody who intended me to do a formation flight with them. I deem it a success because I didn't have a midair. We didn't have an impact or smack into each other. So it's a great first one. Get to do it again later. Thanks for watching. See ya.